As authorities try to stem the fight against misinformation regarding the COVID-19 vaccine, a survey by a gig technology company, M4Jam, has found that false information isn't enough to stop people from getting the jab. The survey was a follow-up to another survey conducted last year. The latest results show that responses are more positive than they were a year ago. This indicates that government's rollout and communication strategy is finally paying dividends. To discuss this further, M4Jam CEO Georgie Midgley joins me now live. Thank you very much, Georgie, for your time here on ENCA. Now, please take us through what your survey found. What did people tell you?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me this morning. So we conducted the survey in early August, and it was across all 9 provinces. We had about 1,000 respondents, and they're mainly based in the more outlying and rural areas. So your general respondent, about 70%, had a household income of under 6,000 Rand, and about 82% were the youth. And they all conducted this survey via their mobile phone. And like you said, we did one at the end of 2020, and we compared the results now about 8 months later. It was actually fascinating to see the shift, and that has really happened. So the main things that we discussed in the survey were around, people's sentiment towards COVID-19, the myths around the vaccine, the concerns around the vaccine, and people's willingness to take the vaccine. So those were the key areas that we tried to focus on in this particular survey.
And what exactly was the shift from 8 months ago? 8 months ago, people were more scared of taking the vaccine. Are you saying that right now they're more welcoming of the vaccine?
It was quite concerning last year when we looked at it. Only a third of people were willing to have the vaccine, and about 58% were on the fence, and 10% categorically would not have the vaccine. That's completely shifted. Now you're finding 70% are willing to take the vaccine, only 22% are still on the fence, and that same 10% will not take. And those will be those individuals that will never take the vaccine. So it's great to see that has moved from being on the fence to willing to take the vaccine.
And did you get to the reasons why they've changed their minds? Does it have, for instance, to do with how government has communicated the rollout, or is it because more people are taking it and that encourages other people to go and take their jabs?
I mean, there are a number of myths that are floating around, and I think that's largely what spurred on the lack of willingness to have the vaccine last year. And now people are starting to see that people aren't dying when they have the vaccine, because the myths are that, it's magnetized, it's going to kill you in 2 years, it's going to give you HIV, it's going to give you COVID. Some of the myths are still relevant. The fact that the vaccine is very new and people are concerned around having a vaccine that hasn't been fully tested or what they feel is fully tested. But those myths don't seem to have actually been overcome. People aren't listening to them as much anymore, which is really great to see. And I think it's to do with the fact that now that people can see with their own eyes that these myths are not true. People are not dying. People are not getting HIV. They're not becoming infertile. So I do definitely think with the government's rollout plan, there's been a much greater belief in the government and the government's plans and their ability to roll out this vaccine program.
Now, in your survey, did you include, for instance, people in different age groups and people from different backgrounds, for instance, to see that shift from 8 months ago? And could it have anything to do with, for instance, the younger generation going in such large numbers? I mean, yesterday, 250,000 on the first day for the 18 to 34-year-olds.
So this survey was predominantly focused on the youth. And as we saw yesterday, really are coming out in their numbers to get the vaccine. Yet the youth are the ones who are most comfortable on their mobile devices and see most of that fake news. So it's also good to see that they're the ones who are most exposed to the negative stories around the vaccine, yet they're the ones who showed up. So it's definitely been seen that this is mainly the perceptions of the youth, and that's seeing how positive they have responded to the vaccine. It's no wonder they showed up yesterday, 250,000 of them, to get that vaccine.